Hello, Troy Hurd with the Cedar Creek Dulcimer YouTube channel. This next series, called Dulcimer Solos, is geared toward those of you who are learning how to play chord melody style like I teach in Lesson 4 on our Cedar Creek Dulcimer YouTube page. Now, if you've not watched any of those lessons yet, I encourage you to at least watch one of them, because there I go into a lot more detail and break down exactly how chord melody style works. Let's get the camera turned around and start our tips for this song. Now, even though I'm using my electric dulcimer, I've turned all the effects off, so that way it has just a nice natural acoustic sound, as you heard on the recording. However, since I am using my electric dulcimer, every once in a while I get tempted to throw in a little bit of some kind of effect just to add some flavor to the song, since I can. And on that particular tune, for those of you who do have electric dulcimers or just curious how I made the sound, there is, on my multi-effects pedal, there's an effects called the sequence filter. And the sequence filter is what give me that wah 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 sound. So here's the sound of my dulcimer, you know, without it, and then I tap that on. And that's a sequence filter, just to try to make it sound a little closer to that original recording that Brad did back in the day. But anyway, let's get on back with the lesson. The first tip I want to give, whether it's this song or any song that you're playing in the chord melody style, you want to remember that your melody is the most important part. So pay attention to your melody first, then add in the chords and the harmonies just wherever it's convenient or sounds good for that particular song. As a matter of fact, what you might even want to do, you can see if this works for you, before you worry about adding the chords and everything in, just learn your melody only. Then once you got the tune down and it's in your head a little bit, then go ahead and start adding in the chords along with it. Like so. So there's tip number one. Keep the melody the main thing. My next tip is to remind you to go back and use the previous recording as a good visual. A visual for my hands and the fretboard, finger movement, finger placements, you know, on the chords and chord changes and so forth. And as you probably know by now, I designed the format for you to look at to watch on your phone like so, if you're watching from your phone, that is. I tried different angles and I decided that this particular format gave the best bird's eye view of the dulcimer and the fretboard so you could see my hands and the chord changes more clearly. Now for the next tip, it's which fingers to use. Personally, what I like to do is use my thumb for my lead note for playing my melody. That's my melody note. I like to use my pointing finger to do the bass, and I like to skip this finger and use this finger for the middle string chord. It gives me a little more reach and stretch. What it also does, it allows me, when I want to move from a melody note from here to here, I can just pull this finger off that middle string and play my melody over there. I'll give you a quick little example in the song. So when I got to that note and I needed a 4 and a 3 thrown in there, I just went ahead and pulled this off the middle string and used it to play that melody so this finger could still keep the chord going. The last tip I want to give is just a recap on how the tablature system works for the playing chord melody style in the traditional tuning. Well, first of all, the bottom row, that represents your melody on your first string. And I think that's what makes playing chord melody style in the traditional tuning so much easier than other tunings, is because your melody literally can be played up and down just the one line. So in other words, you don't have to go hunting across to the other strings to find the melody notes that you're looking for. Higher notes go this way, lower notes go that way. So the one line takes care of all your melodies. Then when it's time to change chords, the second number will show you what fret to cover on the middle string. And then finally, the top number will show you what fret to cover on your bass string to finish off your chord. And as you've known from watching lesson 4, that these fingers stay in that chord position the whole time you're playing melody until it's time for the chord to change. And then you just simply move them down to fit the chord to follow. Now, finally coming up, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take screenshots of the tablature and the verses so you can save them to your own device and use it when it's convenient for you to do so. Now, if you notice, I didn't play all the verses on the recording that I just did. What I wanted to just simply do was represent all the pieces of the song, and you can put it together however you choose to do so. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our first edition of Dulcimer Solos. Hope you have a lot of fun learning how to play this song. I think it's not only a beautiful song in itself, but it lends itself really well to play on the dulcimer. Now, it won't be too terribly long. Song number 2 is going to be coming out, House of the Rising Sun. But in the meantime, I'm going to be flying away.